listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889. Thank you for listening to Community Forum. My name is Johnny Chandler. I'm the owner of KCCC 930 AM and the host of Community Forum, but with me is my co-host, Hattie Quinn. Hattie, how are you?
I'm excellent, Johnny. Happy to be here. It's a very exciting topic.
I know you're really excited. I mean, I'm really excited about it too, but she's been nerding out hard. That's it. She's really gotten into it. Hattie is a co-host. You hear her more and more on the radio station all the time. Just for anybody that's listening, Hattie Quinn is the news director of KCCC 930 AM. She also works with me here at Southeast New Mexico College. Give us an email address if anybody has any news or tips or anything to send your way.
News at kcc930am.com.
Dude, that's a good one. That's easy. Thank you for making it easy. And then thank you for the guest for dealing with about 50 seconds of intro and pretending that you guys are not there. So our guest today is, you guys are with the New Mexico Economic Development Department, correct? The NMEDD. Yes. Not to be confused with NMED, which is the Environment Department. They can get a little confusing sometimes, as we know. Our first guest here is Shauna Harvey. Shauna Harvey is the director of the Creative Industries Division, the very first one ever, which is really cool. And so say hi, please. Shawnee, how are you?
Glad to be here, Johnny. Thanks for having me.
Well, and her number two in line, I guess, right? Her coworker, partner in crime, we're going to call Arlen Nelson. Arlen Nelson's the Creative Industry Division Coordinator. How are you, Arlen?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good. So a new department, right? How long has this department been around within the Economic Development Department?
Yeah, we were established in 2023 and then fully staffed in 2024 is when we both came on.
Yeah.
Did that take legislative action for you guys to have this department created, or is that something that like Rob Black and the governor could just do?
Yeah, it was actually statutorily created. So it did take the legislature and the governor. She signed it into law April 2023. And then we hit the ground running maybe like between August and November of 24.
Wow. Okay. And here we are in 26, and you guys have been building for so long, right? Basically, I mean, I don't know how long that is, but you've been building for a couple of years, and I'm sure you guys are doing a lot more, which I'd love to hear about. But let's start with the whole reason that you're on the show today, right? Because we have a pretty big event happening here in Carlsbad on March 7th. I'm not talking about River Blitz. Everybody's going to go pick up some trash. That's cool.
Absolutely.
But we have another big event on March 7th at the Cavern Theater, which I think is cool. And I haven't even told you what the event is yet. So I think it's neat because it incorporates our newly remodeled Cavern Theater, right? Which was one of the original movie theaters in the community that was part of the creative economy at that time, right? So I've just roped it all in to talk about CreativeCon, right? So we are going to the Cavern Theater, like literally the original place for creatives in Carlsbad. It's newly remodeled. It's beautiful in there. It harkens back to the heyday of that theater for sure.
Yeah.
Have you been inside of it, haven't you?
I go regularly with the family.
Yeah, that's right. And they show old movies all the time, like Valentine's Day. They showed The Notebook. You know what I mean? And then I was at the post office this morning, and it's How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days this weekend.
Yep.
You know, which. Man, I remember that movie. Like, it was a good movie.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, and I thought I wasn't going to like it because like romantic comedy, and I'm supposed to be like a tough guy watching, body count movies. I really loved it. It was.
I
Really,
took
really
my
good.
son to see the Planet of the Apes original movie
Oh,
there.
the original one, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
That is a good one, and it's also very interesting. That's like at the end, I'm kind of disappointed that it's like Earth. At the end, I was like,
What?
I don't know how that.
That's the big twist.
I know, and I'm like, oh, come on, you didn't know that was Earth.
He didn't know.
All right. So we're just going to go ahead and get to start. March 7th, here at the Cavern Theater, it's CreativeCon. Somebody, Shawnee, Arlen, tell me what's going on with this CreativeCon, the idea behind it. I also want to get to know about you, but let's talk about CreativeCon first.
Yeah, CreativeCon is our statewide series of convenings and initiatives bringing together creatives, artists, and creative economy professionals from all across the state. And what we're doing this year is unearthing creative ecosystems. There is so many amazing programs and resources out there to support small businesses that creatives and artists can use too. So what we're trying to do with CreativeCon, and we're so excited to be in Carlsbad, is bring together Southeast New Mexico creatives, artists, people who are interested in creative economy work, and really just have a candid conversation about what can projects look like? What do the investments look like? What are creative entrepreneurs experiencing in Southeastern New Mexico? How can the state help? And also, what are all the other things available to help uplift and invest in creative industries infrastructure, programming, building out the theaters, building out maker spaces, providing business grants to small creative businesses, all that and more, and just to really get the conversation started. And we're super looking forward to it.
Yeah. One of the things about our theme with unearthing the creative ecosystems is realizing, like, while we are a new division, the work of the creative economy in New Mexico is not new. So a lot of the resources are existing there. It's just a lot of times the creators, the business owners don't know where they're at. So what we're trying to do is make sure that we're convening the whole Southeast in Carlsbad to be able to understand what are the creative resources? What are the organizations that you can go to be able to help expand your business outside of just looking for the statewide grants? It's a lot of local investment and in-kind collaboration that can happen that can help a business to thrive in their community.
So are you two trying to kill the stereotype of the starving artist? Is that what you're trying to do? Are you trying to kill that stereotype? I mean, the starving artist, they starve for so long, then they finally make it. It was the struggle. Now you're just going to make them comfortable, and then they get famous.
Yeah,
We can
I think
hope.
in a nutshell, we're trying to show people that it's possible to build a livelihood around your creativity, and it doesn't have to be a struggle. Starving artist needs to be something that we can put behind us and say, wait a minute, there's a lot of stuff out here for artists to be able to feed themselves and do better, and even add it as something additional that they're doing. So in theory, yes, we're trying to kill the narrative.
Yeah, all right. No,
Well,
I
I
like it.
love that as a creative, I have to say. I really love that. I don't think that my truest passion should have to be a hobby.
All right, that's fair.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's very fair. I agree. I agree with that. We teach a podcasting class here at Southeast New Mexico College, and that is a result of the fact that there's a lot of people that wanted to get into it. It's something that's been pretty exciting. We've had 34 individuals come through the class in just over 2 years.
Yep.
And we have multiple podcasts that run on the radio station every day. And so that's obviously very, very important. So I want to ask a question. Does the fact that I happen to own an AM radio station in Carlsbad, does that qualify me to be a part of the creative community? Is that part of the creative industries? And then to follow that up, can you give me maybe a list of the industries and the people in the industries I work with, what type of creative industries you'd like to see show up there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one, information and broadcasting is definitely a creative industry. Podcasting, media, journalism, all of that, it takes creatives to put that together, to create stories, to help inform communities. So absolutely, that is one of our areas under the creative industries, like umbrella and statute. And it is a very broad list of creative industry clusters. I'll let Arlen talk a little bit about them.
Yeah, so we have 6 different creative industry clusters, or at least that's the way we call them, because really within each industry cluster, it could be close to about 10 to 21 industries in that cluster, right? We are actually over 117 different North American identification codes within the state. So just to give a quick breakdown of the 6 different clusters, we have performing arts, visual arts, literary arts. We have entertainment, media, information, and broadcasting. We have applied arts, design. That's including architecture, landscape architecture, museum, and gallery professions. We have promotions, marketing, graphics, and industrial design, technology and computer systems design, software design, coding, digital media, crafts, artisans, professions, including metal, wood, glass, ceramics, paper, printing, textiles, and culinary arts. And it really does not actually end there, because you just talked about something that's another industry area, right? The creator industry, the creator economy, where you see in the podcast, the influencers, the social media content creators. That's a whole new industry area. It's not a North American identification code for that, right? So we are also looking at the emerging industries that are happening, and then trying to do our best to be able to create the data to be able to capture and make that real in other people's eyes that have that traditional business lens.
Everything under the sun that has the creative element can be considered creative economy and creative
Right.
industries. It's very broad.
Yeah. So let me pull up a real obscure example here, then I'll get to Hattie here in a second. So we have a local printing company here, right? They're called Nichols Printing, right? We'd like to do all of our printing. We like to do as much as we can locally here through the college. College has some money to spend. Let's spend it locally, right? The idea is that they print flyers. I think that would qualify. They create creative flyers. They're a part of the creative industry, right? And so
Absolutely.
Right. So I just think that I use that example as like, typically a print shop wouldn't think they'd be a part of the creative industry maybe, because they're just getting designs and printing them. But there's a lot more to it than that, right? You've ever submitted a design to a print shop and you have to change it 3 or 4 times, and you're like, this is way too much work for me, you know?
Yep.
I would even do one better to even help them to understand that they also are a manufacturer.
Yeah,
Right.
right,
And a lot of
right.
people don't think about themselves like that, but they are manufacturing prints. They're doing it consistently with a technique towards it that can lead into other incentives like our JTIP, our job training incentive that happens with the economic development department.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know who else would be under there is like Milton's Brewing,
Yeah, yeah.
because they're brewing beer. That's culinary arts, right? That's classified
Absolutely.
under our
Oh, good
NAICS
point.
code,
Yeah.
so
And so
great.
let's see, let's talk about that for a second. Actually, Hattie, let me get your question, and I've been interrupting.
All right. Well, now I have a new one that I need to say first.
Okay.
So I just want to point out to all of our listeners that we have really amazing culinary arts programs here in Carlsbad, like state award-winning
Yeah.
teams coming out of the high school. So all of you, please pay attention to the fact that culinary arts are under that creative umbrella.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. The BPA organization here that does that, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called for. The culinary team at the high school here wins almost every year, state competition, like every
Yeah, they're
year.
amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
But I did also want to point out that there's a creative industry that doesn't, I think, fall under your umbrella because of legislation, which is the film industry.
Well, the
Yes,
film industry
that's
has their
correct.
own subsidies like crazy. You know,
That
They're-
is I think that's the reason why the legislature designed it the way that they did, is there's a robust tax incentive. So we are everything except film and TV. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Yeah,
you
no,
for
that's
pointing that out.
Thank you for doing research before the interview, Hattie. At least one of us did. And then also, that was just a really solid question. I mean, that's really great. But I want to get back to beer. Okay, so you were talking about Milton's, and they have a really nice IPA that I enjoy there, right? Responsibly, of course.
Of course.
Right. But so you obviously we're in Carlsbad Main Street District. We're going to be at the Cavern Theater on March 7th. You mentioned, at least you told me, we haven't told anybody else, food will be catered, right? Food, lunch will be included. But you're also trying to team up with Milton somehow. Like, what type of partners do we have for our event on the 7th?
Oh man, well, I can say that like our team is just Arlen and I. So all of our partners are really what's bringing this to life. We're working with the Carlsbad Main Street. We're working with the Carlsbad Community Concert Association as
Yeah,
well. We're going to
yep.
be giving a 50% discount to all concert attendees who want to check out the Waddington Brothers on the night of the 7th. We're going to be able to
Okay.
get discounted tickets for that. And then Milton's, I think we're looking at, Denise has been awesome with Carlsbad Main Street. So I think potentially they're looking at doing a karaoke night. We're very hopeful that that will come to being. And then, we're working, I think, with KMP Catering, working with Hot Shot Espresso. We're working with a ton of different small creative businesses. And to your point, I think we might be hitting up Nichols Printing for some support on our
yeah.
programs as well.
Well, any connections that you need here in Carlsbad, you just ask Hattie and I will hook you up. And the community is more than willing to help out. We're really excited about this for sure. I think one of the partners you're going to have to mention it. I'm just going to have to do it. It's going to be Southeast New Mexico College, right? So the
Absolutely.
reason we're partnering is I believe one of our professors is on the speaking panel, Alexis
Yes.
Clements, right? I think you've invited me to be on the speaking panel as well.
Yeah.
So
We absolutely did.
I think I said that as humbly as I could. So thank you very much.
Yes.
I was like, it's like you also okay, all right. So just kind of walk us through the day a little bit about what we could expect. As a creative showing up to this event, or just a community member that's interested in the creative economy?
Yeah, so we're gonna start the day off right. We're working on prepping a script right now. And for background, Arlen and I are both creatives as well. So Arlen has a background as a comedian, and I
Ooh.
am a musician and a writer. So we're trying to, we're trying to
Nice.
concoct something good to,
Make it entertaining.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I
make
love
sure
it.
that
are we
folks
going to
are-
get some stand up, Arlen, on the 7th? Are you going to give? I just want a 3-minute set. That's all.
Well, it may not be necessarily stand up, but I'm a good MC.
Okay.
And rarely do I not get on stage without a few jokes.
I'm wondering when I'm going to see you on the Quezada Comedy Club commercial on TV for when you're performing at the Santa Ana Star Casino at Quezada's Club.
Hey, it may be sooner than you would expect. I have been actively out. If anybody is interested, my comedy stage name is Count Supreme.
Okay.
Yes, I have been getting booked every now and then. So I mean, hopefully this might be the thing to say it. KCCC, go ahead. We actually are been trying to get some people here. So
Yeah, well, that's cool, man. I really,
Assistance.
I think we would be remiss to have an interview to talk about the creative economy to not talk about the creativeness that you both have. right? So stand-up comedian, it's cool. I mean, you either drop me your Instagram handle or something later so I can sit there and watch watching like all your comedy skits. That's how I see most of the comedy now is on Instagram,
Yes,
you know?
yes.
So Shawnee, you said you're a singer and a musician?
Yeah, I'm a saxophonist. I've been playing sax for like probably over a decade now. I think over 15 years
All
now.
right.
So, yeah, I play in a band. We do pop, soul, and R&B, and then I also do some writing on the side because I just think that creativity, keeps me centered, keeps me grounded,
Yes.
and keeps me inspired.
Absolutely. I spend so much of my time now writing for the station, which I love. Don't get me wrong.
But watch what she's about to say, though.
But I felt like a little bit like my soul was being stifled, and so I'm actually about to launch my own Substack where I'll do like a weekly essay or something, just because I need to still be doing creativity for me.
Yeah, well, and that's a real challenge. So, you have news, journalism, information. Obviously that's real important to us owning a radio station and being a news director in the news industry. So you guys have all that listed, but I spent almost 20 years in the news industry in Albuquerque at KOB and KRQE collectively. I was the assistant news director at KOB before leaving that industry. And the way that grind works in there, it's really, really difficult to find the opportunity for creativity in a newsroom, right? And if you haven't been in a newsroom, you maybe wouldn't necessarily understand this, but it's such a machine, story after story after story, 4 to 6 hours of local news a day, that having the time to really make it creative is difficult, right? So so think about like Larry Barker. Everybody knows who Larry Barker is. Guy's been around forever, right? Worked with him for 10 years. Great guy. But he does 4 stories a year. He gets 3 to 4 months to work on his stories, right? For one story, right? And that makes it 5 to 8 minutes long as well, right? Which is a unique thing in news also. But then that gives him a lot of time to be creative, and as creative as local news can be. I love cheesy local news, by the way. The papers on the desk, the fake money falling down the screen. You know what I mean? I think that people should embrace local news, embrace the cheesiness. It's a standard format. Any city you go to, you get in the hotel, the first thing I do is turn on local news and realize it's the same. It's just a different city, just a different street name. It's the same stories. Anyway, so that is a very creative industry, and I think it could be lost on a lot of people because it is like hard news within itself is negative, news within itself is negative, right? So it doesn't feel like it's creative, but getting that information out is also equally creative and equally as important, right? Absolutely. But trying to find that creativity when you're talking about if it bleeds, it leads, it makes it difficult.
Yeah.
And it makes it really hard. So that's why here at the station, we took a different approach. We do community news where we tell the community what's going on and try to enlighten and uplift the community and get them more involved. We have not once reported on a negative news story here since we've owned this radio station, have we?
Well,
did you?
I did a couple, but it's micro news. I didn't go in
okay.
depth.
I was we're not reporting. Well, there's really no crime down here, guys. Not too much. So it's like we're not really reporting on crime, but
one of our city council candidates ended up in court. Of course, I mentioned it.
Well, that's legitimate. That's legitimate.
But no, we are very up focused. Very like the community's doing this and it's awesome. Almost everything I do is that. And then every once in a while, I mention something real that's going like hard. Everything's real, but something hard that's going on.
So you guys are going to be here on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so we should be referring folks down to Carlsbad. So if you're worried about the crime in Albuquerque, move to Carlsbad.
Yeah, it's way different living in Albuquerque for 20 years. The crime, it's different, but Albuquerque is just a metropolitan area, right? When you go to major cities, there's just some of the things that come with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
But down here, like I probably shouldn't say this, but I don't worry about Amazon packages showing up at the front door.
Yeah.
Right. I've literally shown up to my house, seen a bunch of Amazon packages, and then left without putting them in my house to go do whatever else I needed to do first. Like I didn't even put them in the house because I'm so not worried about anything happening to them. But that's also a small town thing too, typically.
Yeah.
Right. Once we, and it's not like we don't have that stuff either. I'm not going to sit there and say we don't have it. But my frame of reference is Albuquerque. And 20 years in local news in Albuquerque, all you hear about is crime. You know what I mean? When you're in that environment. So
right.
I don't come from a fair perspective, and I think it's fair for me to say that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I come from a different perspective on that for sure. The Cavern Theater, right across from the historic courthouse here in Eddy County, which, nice fact, I bet you two don't know this, is the only reason I'm mentioning it, is the only Adobe courthouse in the state of New Mexico.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
And, Eddy County is one of our partners, too. I think they're helping us out with setting folks up for lunch. So we're really grateful the way that your community has embraced us and helped us put this together. And I'd be glad to, talk a little bit about what folks can expect during the day, because we've got In the morning, we're going to kick it off right. I think folks are going to be excited to see what we have planned for the theater. You know, you don't always see a convening happening in a theater or a government, conference. And this isn't necessarily a government conference. This is more about how do we bring creative communities together. So we're really excited for the set deck and the backdrops that we have set up for people to really help them immerse themselves in the experience. But we're going to talk about, place-based creative economy resources. So who are the people that are in your region, in your town, that are there doing this kind of development work, and who you can be thinking about talking to about potential creative projects. And then we've got creative entrepreneurs who have their own businesses, galleries coming down from Roswell, Ruidoso. We've got you joining us from Carlsbad directly. We've got a dance company coming up from Lovington, New Mexico. Am I missing anyone else?
No, I think you hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you hit
So
everybody.
you mentioned the Carlsbad Community Concerts, right? You mentioned them, right? What about the Carlsbad Community Theater?
We've reached out to the theater a couple times. We're hoping that they'll be there in attendance. But we haven't.
So offline, let me get you a number, right? We'll get you a number offline. They need to be involved, right? And sometimes they may need to be.
They have a big show this weekend, so that could be affecting their communication.
This show they do. What's the show going to be?
Sweet.
The popularity of our community theater is next level down here.
It's a farce. Sweet Surrender, but it's SUITE. Sweet.
Oh, okay. Right. All right. So,
I mean, theaters alone are such a huge piece of creative economy, because when you have the physical space, it's more than just for performance, right? It's a community gathering space. And we've gotten a lot of applications in our grant programs that we do for nonprofits and for-profit, as well as local government, but looking at theater improvements, theater spaces, things like that. So we've been definitely looking at how can we help, the performing arts community with some of their creative infrastructure needs.
right.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So we're going to have a really great day with that. We're going to talk to creative entrepreneurs, and then we're also going to talk about statewide available resources and programs to fund creative industries projects. And then the more exciting part is that we've got over $17,000 in marketing placements and sweepstakes that we're going to be doing for Carlsbad Con specifically, right? So Southeastern New Mexico, we've got some radio advertising from KCCC AM radio coming on through.
I like that place. I've heard of them before. They're pretty good. Not bad.
Yeah, news advertising from El Rito Media,
Yeah.
El Rito Media, which does Current Argus and Artesia Daily Press, Ruidoso News, Alamogordo News. And we've got a lot of other folks kind of coming to the table to help creative businesses and entrepreneurs market their services and products. So we're really excited.
And the biggest thing about that is you have to be there to be able to get those sweepstakes. That's the
right.
thing. You got to
Yeah,
be
right.
in attendance. So that's one of our biggest incentives to be able to get people coming out, to be able to know that this is a good opportunity, not only just to learn about how you can help your business by understanding the resources, but also being able to stay and possibly gaining some resources just from your attendance.
Right. I mean, it sounds like a pretty exciting day. I assume there's going to be drinks and snacks all day too. Right. Right. Something about an espresso truck or something.
Yes.
At what time of the day should you stop drinking espresso?
I always, for me, it's 2:30.
That's good. You thought about that.
I'm
I
a little
can-
earlier.
I can consume caffeine until I go to bed.
So yeah, Hattie will sit here, kill a Mountain Dew, and then go to sleep.
I don't sleep at work.
No, that's a very good point. Thank you. We don't have to clarify to anybody that you have your own spouse and your own family, and I don't go to home with you. But yeah, so I don't think you're going to really need espresso to stay awake with what you guys got going on. But that is also it's very awesome, and what is cool. So we're really excited about it, as you know, being in the creative industry and owning a creative industry. We're real excited about it. I'm grateful that you guys invited me to speak a little bit about being the owner of a creative business. So let me this is for Carlsbad, Eddy County, Southeast New Mexico. This is what this interview is for specifically. Yes. But on March 28th, you're going to be in Raton at the Schuler Theater, right? Yes. So I know that the theater theme, you guys have really embraced it. You know what I mean? And then we've got April 11th in Gallup, New Mexico at the El Moro Theater, right? Which would be really great. And then the Pueblo Poake Buffalo Thunder Casino, probably be in a theater type situation in there too. But
we'll also be in Silver City on April 25th.
I skipped right over that one. I did.
Good job.
Yeah, that's Western New Mexico University Fine Arts Theater, and then the National Hispanic Cultural Center on June 6th. So every single region you're having sweepstakes and giveaways for, like for each region individually. So I mean, we're looking at well over $100,000 in sweepstakes and giveaways, probably.
Yes, most likely.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's thanks to local creative businesses and media partners like you all. And then we are even doing some New Mexico Magazine placements as well that will start probably later in the year, but we've got one of those for each convening. So that's going to be exciting. Those are going to be exciting
Now,
too.
being in the New Mexico Magazine is a valuable thing, for sure. Plus, it's a
Yeah.
great magazine. I love it a lot. So how much to get into the event? It's not free, we noticed. How much is the tickets?
Right, so tickets are gonna be $15 plus $1 for processing, so they're $16. But the coolest thing about this is that we're working with the fiscal agent where a portion of ticket proceeds are actually going back to the grant fund. So those grants are going out to for-profit businesses, nonprofits, folks who are doing work in the creative industries, and then your lunch is provided as well. So
Right.
yeah, there's a payment, but it's more to feed you and then also make sure that we can continue doing this work throughout New Mexico.
Right. Very reasonable, by the way. What I've already paid, I've already registered, I've already paid. I paid $16. There was nothing at all to that. So that was really great. What about a website? Where can people go and sign up on the website?
Sure. It's going to be edd.newmexico.gov/CreativeCon. And all the information will be there listed. We're updating the programs on a regular basis. All the terms and conditions for the sweepstakes are there. Buy your tickets, book, see what else is going on. We're going to be updating that regularly.
Okay, wonderful. Hattie, any last questions? We're almost running short on time.
Well, I was going to ask about the cost to get in. So, all right. Are there opportunities for coverage? Like, could I come and interview attendees? Would that be okay?
She wants to cover it as a reporter. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. As long as our attendees are all right with
Of
that,
course.
we'll put something up that lets people know that they may be asked and approached and that they can make that decision for them. But really what we're doing is trying to bring together artists, makers, creative businesses, small businesses, anyone who is invested in New Mexico's creative future, including local and state partners and nonprofits, foundations, chambers. We want everybody in the room so we can talk about, what's the value behind creativity and how do we embrace that for New Mexico and let our New Mexico communities navigate what creativity and creative industries means for them.
Yeah, and knowing that this is our first time doing it, this is our first Creative Con that's happened in New Mexico. We will take any way that we can be able to tell this story and show the importance of what the impact can do to our creatives throughout this state. Because as a new division, but looking at something that's already so old, our creative economy in New Mexico has been around now going on centuries, really.
Before statehood, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's just really getting everybody on board to understand that, right? And that's what the whole point of these convenings. I do want to make sure that we also get an understanding that our first 5 are regional convenings, right? That those are for that regional area, each regional area from Carlsbad being in the southeastern region to Raton being in our northwestern, northeastern area. But also the Albuquerque one is our statewide. So the Albuquerque one is a little different than the other 5, where it'll have the 3 separate tracks, be a little bit more in depth on like a traditional conference where we'll have workshops by creative business owners, creative organizations, and even government supporters.
Well, that's interesting. That's good. I mean, a very important designation. I was only planning on going to the one on March 7th here in Carlsbad, but it sounds like, Hattie, we need to take a trip in June to Albuquerque for that one.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a big destination. So, if you're listening, Saturday, March 7th, here at the Cavern Theater, you need to be there for sure. But then also put in your head June 6th at the National Hispanic Cultural Center in Albuquerque. So it'd be great to get some statewide brainstorming going on the creative industry, right? So we bring everybody from the state together and kind of combine the southeast with the northern part of the state, because the cultures and the art are quite a bit different, and so it'd be really great if we went ahead and combine those and really help each other out. So I'm really excited about all this. We've got I noticed that the budget that passed the legislature ended on February 19th, which is the day that we're recording this. that they passed some money for grants for news organizations that will hire local journalists. There's tax breaks for hiring local journalists
Oh,
now.
how exciting. I didn't know that.
Wonderful.
I don't have the details yet. I'm not going to read the
new.
whole bill until it comes out. It is brand new. It hasn't officially been signed into law yet. And there's also like some tax breaks for doctors and stuff like that as well. But
good.
what I will say about the state of New Mexico, since I've owned this radio station 4 years, between the New Mexico Local News Fund, the state of New Mexico in general, there is a lot of support for journalism. The fact that local journalism in rural areas was in such a crisis for so long, I'm glad that that's been identified and that we're able to offer a service for this community that nobody else could. And part of that reason is because of the grants from the organizations that are helping.
Absolutely.
Right? We all know that the advertising dollars from traditional media are drying up. Google and everybody online took them all, and they're not going to give them back. Right? They're like, we're not giving it back. We have them. But we need a way for the local communities to have local information. And so I'm especially passionate about that creative aspect of my career that I've been trying to do for so long. But I think all creatives getting together, really creating like an ecosystem, as you guys have created on your flyer. You know what I mean? To feel like you've got all the right language. It feels very well thought out. I'm really excited about this. So, Hattie, I'm going to give you the last word. Well, you two will get the last word. Shawnee and
they
Arlen
should
get
have
the last word.
word. I'm just really excited about it, and everybody should definitely come join us and look for me there. If you want to do a spotlight on your creative business, I would be happy to sit down and talk with you for 5 to 15 minutes and put it on Midweek Matters.
Absolutely. Always free for those spotlights and community forum. We never charge for those things. So, Arlen, any last words? And then Shawnee's going to get the last word.
Well, one, thank you for having us on the radio station, and really, I want to push. I would hope to be able to see everybody come out to Carlsbad, everybody in the southeastern region. We would love to be able to get some of your information, understand more about your resources, and being able to get that to our creatives throughout New Mexico. Yeah, other than that, I look forward to being able to see Carlsbad out. Carlsbad, Alamogordo, not Raton, I'm sorry. I'm going a little too far. Carlsbad, Alamogordo, Lovington, Ruidoso. I'm looking forward to meet everybody.
Excellent. Shawnee, what do you got?
Yeah, my last pitch is we've got a grant open right now for-profit small creative businesses. It's closing at 6 p.m. on February 27th. Up to $25,000 for infrastructure, marketing, wayfinding improvements, digital improvements for your business. So if you are a creative industries business, check that out. And then, we're also going to be running a local government grant as well. And we want to see New Mexico's creative industries thrive. We're super excited to meet with folks. And we hope that we'll see folks from across that southeastern corner. We're talking to Hobbs, Clovis, Artesia, Carlsbad. We like y'all down there. We're excited. And this is for the community. These regional convenings are based around creative communities in New Mexico. And these events are to bring the information to you. It's really not about us pushing our stuff. We're going to do a little bit of that. But what we want to do is show people what's possible when creative communities come together. And we're really excited.
I know I have a business that you can write that check to right now for that grant. I'll give it to you right now. No problem, right?
I think we have to do the application
We
first.
will have a pun intended. We will have a money application for them for sure. It'll be a great one. That's going to be really, really good. So, Shawnee Harvey, Director of the Creative Services Division here in the state of New Mexico, Arlen Nelson, Creative Industry Division Coordinator. Thank you all very much. Thank you for coming on. Let me know how I can help you, how Hattie and I can help you up until the event, because as a friendly reminder, we pre-record everything. And I can't wait to meet you all and see you on March 7th.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Johnny and Hattie. We appreciate the time.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
both.
you for y'all for having us.
You're listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889.